Sweet Christmas will come early on September 30th, because that's when Marvel's Luke Cage will arrive on Netflix. To get you ready for the show, here's everything you need to know about the character. The super strong, bulletproof Luke Cage was the first black superhero to have his own comic book series, and is now set to be the first African American lead in the Marvel live-action universe, following his supporting role in last year's Jessica Jones. In his 44-year history, he's gone from a ridiculous blaxploitation character, to devoted hero for hire, to inspirational family man, to a respected leader of the Avengers. It was June of 1972, and the blaxploitation trend was in full swing, with Shaft released a year earlier. Never want to let a good trend pass them by, Marvel created Luke Cage to cash in on this craze. Cage was created by Archie Goodwin, John Romita Sr., and George Tuska for Luke Cage Hero for Hire #1. Born Carl Lucas, the soon-to-be superhero had a troubled youth marked by petty crimes. He straightened his life out by adulthood, but his old friend Willis Stryker framed him for a crime he didn't commit, sending Lucas to prison. While in prison, Lucas volunteered for an experimental procedure that was an attempt to replicate the one that created Captain America. He was granted superhuman strength and unbreakable skin, which he used to escape prison and return to New York City. Carl Lucas then adopted the alias Luke Cage and became a hero for hire, donning his now disco-tastic costume of a metal tiara, giant chain belt, and an open-to-the-navel yellow shirt. The series was retitled to Luke Cage Power Man with issue number 17 and ran for just under 50 issues. His initial adventures saw him take down notorious and importantly named villains, such as Senor Suerte, Lion Fang, the Night Shocker, X, Mr. Fish, and Piranha Jones. Some of those villains from the series will even be appearing in the show, including Diamondback, Black Mariah, and Cottonmouth. With the 50th issue, Marvel teamed up Power Man and Iron Fist as a way to boost sales. The book became Power Man and Iron Fist. Boom. One of the greatest romances in comics was born. Luke Cage and Danny Rand, the super martial artist known as Iron Fist, formed a unique bond of friendship that fans loved, making both characters more popular than either had ever been on their own. Let's just take a minute to remember that Luke Cage was the first black superhero to have his own series. So, it may surprise you, or not, that it wasn't until issue number 111, 12 years after the title's debut, that the book got its first black writer, James Owsley. He was actually the first black writer at Marvel, period. Owsley, who also goes by the pen name Christopher Priest, is a name you might recognize. He's best known for his later work on The Crew and Black Panther. Priest was credited with giving Luke Cage a far more realistic voice. Gone was the stereotypical jive-talking in favor of a witty, quick-tempered characterization. But there's one line that survived to become the character's catchphrase.
Sweet Christmas.
Yeah.
Power Man and Iron Fist ended in 1986, with Iron Fist's apparent death in issue number 125. Luke remained dormant for the next 6 years, until a 1992 series launched, simply titled Cage, which dropped the yellow shirt and Power Man codename. That solo series only lasted 20 issues. Luke then spent a bit of time on a new Heroes for Hire team, before being reintroduced in 2001 in a Marvel Max series called Alias. Max was an imprint Marvel started which featured more adult or risque content, an R-rated comic book line, if you will. In Alias, Cage met the woman who'd become the love of his life, a superpowered private investigator named Jessica Jones. Yes, the very same Jessica Jones that has her own TV show. Under the stewardship of writer Brian Michael Bendis, Luke and Jessica quickly became one of Marvel's best power couples, with their relationship growing over the course of Alias and its follow-up series, The Pulse. The two even had a baby, Danielle, named after Iron Fist himself, Danny Rand. In 2005, Bendis launched his groundbreaking run on New Avengers and brought Luke along for the ride alongside Spider-Man, Wolverine, Captain America, Iron Man, and Spider-Woman. Cage quickly became a vital part of the team and one of its most respected members. A short time into his run as an Avenger, Luke Cage decided to pop the big question to Jessica right in front of the whole team. In a meta move, Stan Lee officiated the wedding just like he had in real life for Spider-Man and MJ in Shea Stadium back in 1987, which, yes, actually did happen. Luke Cage was a key part of Captain America's resistance during the first superhero Civil War, and following the Captain's death. Cage became the leader of the Avengers. He led several incarnations of the team, and even led the Thunderbolts for a spell. Flash forward to February of 2016. everything old is new again, with Marvel's relaunch of Power Man and Iron Fist, reuniting the two besties. In the last few years, Cage has popped up in other mediums, helping to broaden his fandom. His most prominent role was as part of the main cast of 2012's Ultimate Spider-Man cartoon, where he was one of Spidey's teenage teammates being trained by S.H.I.E.L.D. He's also appeared in Avengers, Earth's Mightiest Heroes, and Marvel's Superhero Squad, as well as a number of video games, such as LEGO Marvel's Avengers,
They don't call old Luke Cage Power Man for nothing!
Marvel, Ultimate Alliance, and Marvel Heroes, among many others. His upcoming show isn't even the first attempt at a live-action Luke Cage project. Back in the early 90s, Quentin Tarantino expressed interest in making a Luke Cage film with Lawrence Fishburne in the lead role.
Is it really so hard to believe?
Before going on to make Pulp Fiction instead. Tarantino and Luke Cage. Salivating prospect there. Columbia Pictures also optioned Cage for a film in 2003 from Boys in the Hood director John Singleton, but it never made it out of pre-production. But perhaps Luke Cage's greatest claim to Hollywood fame is being the inspiration for the acting pseudonym of Nicholas Kim Coppola, better known to moviegoers as Nicolas Cage.
A, B, C, D, E, F, G.
Which brings us to September 30th. Luke Cage drops on Netflix, setting up the character to join Daredevil, Jessica Jones, and Iron Fist in 2017's Defenders series. Sweet Christmas indeed. Are you thinking about getting fitted for a metal tiara or changing your last name to Cage? Let us know in the comments or at Blastr on Twitter, and be sure to subscribe for more videos.
When you listen to this script, even with the involvement